Rev up your engines!
Well, Toyota's working on a cartridge that holds hydrogen to fuel stuff. And it's not that big. It's about this big. It fits in a hole, right? And then they said, oh, you can return them and recycle them and get them refilled and stuff. But here's the weird thing. As far as it stands now, it has nothing to do with cars. It's a hydrogen fuel prototype, little thing that fits in, and they say one cartridge can operate a household microwave for 3 to 4 hours. Well, that's not very much power, and why are they even making this thing? I mean, I could see if they're going to make something for cars, but the problem with that is power a car. It's a lot more than a microwave oven, right? They would need huge ones that would weigh so much that an average person couldn't take it out and put it in. Why they're making this, I don't know. Maybe they're getting into alternative sources of energy, Toyota. Who knows? The idea in terms of electric batteries, of course, has been out there for quite some time. And in China, they've done millions of battery swaps for small vehicles or electric scooters where you go to the electric store, just like going to a gas station, and you just pull your battery out, give it to them. They give you a charged battery, you put it back in, and then when that runs out of juice, you go to another one and you just keep swapping them endlessly. It's a great idea. The only problem is it requires one thing that never happens in the United States, and that's standardization. China, that are already doing that, right? They can say, I got to make them all this way so they all fit. Maybe that'll happen. The United States, forget it. Nothing's standardized. You would have to make every single electric vehicle have the same exact battery pack that fits them all, and of course, that's never going to happen in this country, right? You'd have to swap them. You'd have to have the same battery, and you'd have to have millions of these batteries. You know that's never going to happen in the United States. China, yeah, it's already happening. They've got, I don't know, 350 million electric scooters and electric bicycles that run on electricity. They're going into that full force because, of course, it's cheaper to make those things. They don't use that much power. Big cars, a lot of people in them, a lot of power. No, those batteries weigh so much. Take a Tesla battery. Some of those Tesla batteries are like 1,500 pounds. You're not going to be swapping one out, putting another one in. On top of it, they're not designed that way. Some of them take 7-8 hours for a mechanic with equipment to replace. You know, it's never going to happen in the United States. They will never standardize anything. Even in liberal California, they shut down the right to repair bill while they were going to put it up for vote. They took it out of a bill. It was quietly killed in committee. Oh, well, the Democrats, you know, they want to help everybody out. They care. Guess what? 5 Democratic senators and only 2 Republicans voted to take it out, not have people even vote on the right to be repair bill. They took it out so they're not even voting on it. This BS of their, we care about people, we care about saving the money. BS. 5 Democrats voted against it. Only 2 Republicans knocked it out, the senators there. Obviously, the corporations have gotten to these people. In this case, it's a lot bigger than it seems. It isn't just the right to repair your own car and the farmers to do that. It's the right to repair your own phone, electronics. And I'm sure those companies put a lot of money into quashing this thing. And I quote, this legislation is backed by repair shops, consumer groups, and environmental organizations opposed to difficult to repair products and the waste that follows. And as a guy who follows this whole thing, all the politics in California, the getting rid of the right to repair bill happened in the most shadowy, unaccountable part of the process, behind the tables. So it's hard to know exactly what happened. Yeah, I know what happened. The corporations paid them off, so they said, oh, we're not even going to put this up. Any fool can see that, right? But that's all hidden in the shadowy backroom deals that they're doing. I just find it hilarious that 5 of the Democratic senators, only 2 of the Republicans voted to squash the thing. So the supposed liberal, we care about the environment, we care about helping people out. What a load of baloney. As I've always said, follow the money. Don't follow the BS they're throwing out. We care about this, we care. They don't care about anything except the moolah. Obviously, by the corporations who do not want people to fix things themselves. They want to either have them break and you got to buy a new one, or you got to go to the dealer and get your car fixed because guys like me can't get the information to fix it because they don't want anybody except them so they can be greedy and rip people off. I just find it hilarious. California, the land where they're supposed to be liberal and care about people's rights and save people money and save the environment. Ha! What a load of crap. They follow the corporations just like everybody else, only they give lip service to, oh, we care about the environment. Ooh. No, they don't. It's a lot of baloney. Well, you know, the problem, Rivians have had the electric SUVs and trucks. Well, now one of their battery packs is starting on fire. And here's the hilarious part. It's not even one that's in the vehicle. It started on fire in their own factory. If the battery can't even make it out of their own factory before it catches on fire, that doesn't bode well for the company selling vehicles that people are really going to be driving around. Now, this was at Rivian's assembly plant in Normal, Illinois. And I just find the whole thing hilarious, you know. They're hardly putting out any vehicles. The batteries are starting that fire inside the factory. Now, the fire started at 10:30 a.m., but the fire department wasn't done giving them the dead battery back until 2:38. These lithium batteries, man, when they burn hot, and they're extremely hard to put out. I just find it rather ironic that this one didn't even make it outside of the factory before it started on fire. It does not bode well for the company or electric vehicles. Anybody who thinks that company's going to be worth a ton of money in the future has lost their marbles entirely. Rivians are relatively expensive. With the coming recession, people aren't going to buy these expensive electric cars. They got enough qualms about electric cars anyways. But the expensive ones, when they don't have any money, they're not going to run out and buy them. Let me tell you. It's not going to be numero uno on people's list when everything's tight and there's hardly any money. Jobs are going, the price of houses starts collapsing, the price of cars will start collapsing too. Nobody's going to be buying these expensive electric cars. And with an economy that's collapsing, do you think they're going to be building electric charging stations and new power plants? No, they aren't. Niall says I got a 2007 Honda V6, 200,000 miles that overheats when it idles, not when driving. I changed the radiator and the fans work. And you're sure those fans work? That's got two cooling fans. Make sure they're both working. Did you change the thermostat? It could easily just be a stupid thermostat. But if it only does it with idling, not when you're going down the road. Logically, unless the thermostat's sticking, that makes no sense whatsoever. Because the only difference between you sitting there in traffic and you driving down the road is there's more wind coming through when you're going 60 miles an hour than just with the little fan spinning. And yet it doesn't overheat on the highway. There can't be anything else wrong with it that you're not getting enough airflow unless the thermostat's not working. Not only make sure the fans are working, make sure they're blowing hard enough. I've seen them where they blow weak. Sit there with the AC on in your driveway. Put your hand, see maybe one's going, but the other, this fan's blowing at 40 miles an hour, this one's only going 5. I would be betting those fans aren't working right, that they're not spinning fast enough or they're cutting on and off. So let it sit for 15 minutes, watch it, see if the fans are working correctly. They probably are not. Silent Forever says, what's the best lubricant for wiper linkage? I got a Toyota 07. The wiper linkage makes a squeaking sound at the end of each stroke. I know it's not the wipers. I raised them off of the windshield and it still made the noise. I used silicone, but it went away after a few months and came back. Is anything else better? Yeah, use like I did in a video a few weeks ago. Use spray lithium grease. You get a can. It's relatively thick. It's waterproof. Spray, all that. It's plastic safe. It's great for lubricating metal. The noise generally will go away for quite some time. Let's say you do it and it comes back. Just like with the silicone in a short period of time, that tells you that indeed the linkages are actually physically worn. And the grease covers the little worn area for a while, but then eventually when it wipes off, it's worn and it squeaks because you got metal on metal contact and the bushings are worn. You can actually find bushings for some of them and you can take them apart and put new bushings in. They do sell bushing kits at places. You might have to replace it because you said it's 07, so the thing is what, 16 years old, so it could be the bushings are worn. You got to replace the bushings, but try the spray white lithium grease first. It's phenomenal for stuff like that. Reusm says, what are your thoughts on a 2022 Mazda MX5 Miata? I'm considering one for long term. I own a 21 Mitsubishi Mirage. It's good, but I think the Miata might last longer and have more fun. What do you think? I'm planning on getting the Club GT with manual. Oh yeah, if you want that, get it. Especially the manual. They're so much more fun. Now back in the day, the Mazda Miata automatic transmissions were garbage and you had to get one because they were terrible. They didn't shift right, they wore out. The new modern transmissions, the automatics that are in the Mazdas, they got a deal going with Toyota where they share technology. So they're okay and they don't break. They're much better than the old automatics, but the standards are the most fun. Might be the last car you buy. Those things can last forever. They're fun to drive. I had a 2021 that I drove around for a week. I had a riot with that thing. It's so much fun to drive around. You don't mind the price tag, and they're not outrageous. If you only need a 2-seater, don't expect to be carrying 4 of your friends around with you. Unless you want to be like the kids were in the 50s and 60s, see how many people you can cram in a phone booth. How many people can you cram in a Mazda Miata? But you'd be breaking the law because there's only seat belts for 2 people. So, but they are really, really well-made vehicles. Like I say, you afford the price, you want to get one, get one. It's much better than the Mitsubishi by far. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.